Hello, and Merry Christmas Eve to everybody out there. My name is Michael Raziel. I got my man Ghost, and this is the Win Daily Sports Show. We are going to be talking the NBA Christmas slate. You have some money. Grandma gave it to you. Merry Christmas. Now go put it to work. Invest that shit, right? That's what we're here to do. Ghost Man, Merry Christmas Eve. How you doing, buddy?
Merry Christmas, buddy. All the best to everybody in the Win Daily Sports family, and of course everyone that's watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the holiday, and it's a beautiful day to be alive.
It is a beautiful day to be alive. It's actually like super warm here today. It's like 60 degrees here in New Jersey. So I'm gonna enjoy the weather while I can today, and tomorrow actually gonna be really nice. So we're gonna take advantage of it. But as I said, Ghost and I are gonna be breaking down this NBA Christmas slate. We have a 5-gamer, which is going to be an absolute blast. So if you can't watch the entire thing, don't worry. This is going to be put out in podcast form. We already have Brian's picks and pivots up on the site, which is free. Everything NBA is free for the first week. We're trying to give you guys as much information as you can to start taking it down. Ghost, if you have an article coming out for Christmas, right?
I do. It's going to be coming out in a little bit later tonight, probably right after everyone's lounging on the couch after stuffing their faces there. So you'll be able to get a good read in before going to bed.
There we go. So we're going to have multiple articles for you guys. We are here to help. And don't forget, there's actually an NFL game tomorrow too. So we're going to be having a showdown slate. We have a lot of fun to have, but this is our NBA show. Merry Christmas. I'm actually kind of pissed off the NFL put a game on Christmas. Like, Christmas has always been an NBA day for me. I don't know why they did it, but it's whatever. I'm still going to watch it. That's what two TVs are for. So let's hop into this thing. Let's pull this up and bang. There we go. So our first game should be an absolute blast. We have the New Orleans Pelicans. We have the Miami Heat, Eastern Conference champions, Miami Heat. Miami's favored by 4.5. They actually ended up straight up losing yesterday in that gigantic slate we have that might have got lost. The Pelicans ended up winning. So I think two turnouts that we did not really expect to see. I personally thought the Pelicans were going to lose and the Heat were going to win. So it's interesting how that works out. Ghost, talk to me a little bit about this first game. Zion, Christmas Day. Here you go, NBA fans. Take it. Enjoy it. 12 o'clock in the morning. If you're on the West Coast, wake up to... Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. I love it.
Oh, man. It's this is a good game to get it started. I mean, this is going to be... It's going to be a ton of fun to be able to see Zion going up there against Bam Adebayo in the front court. That's going to be a matchup to keep our eye on. And I do give Bam the edge there on the defensive end. And we saw what Brandon Ingram did last night. Man, oh man, this guy went absolutely nuts and just continued what he was doing from last season. He looked amazing out there. The key cog for me out of this offense is actually new addition, Eric Bledsoe. If he's going to continue playing this many minutes and soak up this much usage, play him at 5,600 while you can, because it's not going to be too long before he's lower than even 7,500 as we approach the new year here. So Eric Bledsoe is somebody that I'm going to keep an eye on, especially with the large majority of people trying to jam in studs from later games. We have Kevin Durant, we have Kyrie Irving, we have Steph Curry, we have Nikola Jokic, we have Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Braun, AD, we got everybody on this slate, and then of course Kawhi and Paul George, not to leave them out of the conversation. Not many people are going to be looking to this mid-range. People are going to be stooping for value and kind of just interchanging pieces. Eric Bledsoe is going to be somebody that's going to be grossly overlooked, and you need to take advantage of that.
You need to take advantage of it, and the model popped off last night. So make sure, Ghost is smiling because he put that goddamn thing together. It took hours and hours and hours and hours, and so far so good through one full slate. So far, so good. So make sure, if you haven't already, check out the NBA projection model, because it is here to help you. That is what we are here to do. Over under for this game, by the way, is 224.5, which is actually the second lowest on the slate, which means Merry Christmas, everyone. We're getting points all day. So very, very excited about that. Anything else from this game? I know obviously Eric Bledsoe seems to be a major play of yours, but anything in the lower range where we can find a little bit of value in that 4 or 5K range?
Yeah, this game is going to be won by the guards. So Eric Bledsoe is going to be somebody that I'm keeping an eye out on the New Orleans side, like we had already mentioned. And on the Miami Heat side, I'm definitely going to be rotating in pieces such as Goran Dragic, of course, Tyler Hero. When is there a slate where I don't get at least one lineup with Tyler Hero in it? And even Duncan Robinson is somebody that he looked good out there last night. If his shot is dropping and he's getting the start, it looks like all three of them are kind of rotating between 29 and 33 minutes. If Duncan Robinson is not getting the short end of the stick, where he's playing a quick 20 and then in and out, and he's pretty much riding the bench while Goran Dragic and Tyler Hero do their thing. This is not a 7-game series against the Lakers, so they're going to play Duncan Robinson all kinds. At 4,400, that's somebody that has the upside for us to be able to win a tournament, especially with his 3-point shot ability. 268 threes last season. So you're looking for value in the $4,000, $3,500, $4,500 range. Yes, guys like Nick Batum and other pieces from other games as we approach them, they'll get you there. They have a safer floor. We want ceiling, man. We want guys that are going to be able to win us a tournament. Duncan Robinson is that guy.
I love it. It should be fun. It should be fun. So let's move on. We have the Golden State Warriors, who looked like crap, against the Milwaukee Bucks, who looked better than the Warriors did. Didn't look great, but they definitely didn't get blown out by 40 points. So I think that's important. The Bucks at home favored by 10.5 points. A little bit of the juice going to the Warriors. Currently over under sits at 232.5. So this is expected to be the highest scoring game on the slate. You love Steph Curry. I love Steph Curry. Everybody loves Giannis. Chris Middleton did his thing, which was kind of cool to see, I guess. So did Dante DiVincenzo. You were talking sauce about Dante DiVincenzo, and he comes out and does pretty well. So you got to love that. Talk to me about this game. Do you think the Warriors keep this within 35?
Yes, absolutely. We said it throughout the NBA bubble and throughout the playoffs that Milwaukee is exposed behind the arc, and now you have the best shooter of all time in Stephen Curry coming up there. And he's gonna have ample opportunity to be able to absolutely launch whatever he wants from deep. So this is a game that it is a perfect 1-2 stud punch, exactly like what you have on the screen right here in Giannis Antetokounmpo and Stephen Curry. The Warriors are lacking in interior defense without Draymond on the court. Kelly Oubre held his own. Andrew Wiggins looked like hot garbage. We're not going to comment on that. He's somebody that I will have 0% of no matter how many lineups that I end up running. He's somebody that I will have 0% of. He just looked absolutely awful in that first game, and very, very, very little involvement on the offensive end. Looked lost on the defensive end. Just somebody that I want nothing to do a part of from the DFS side of things. But this is a great game to end up stacking, whether you're going 1-2 stud punch with Curry and Giannis, or you can grab some value as well. I mean, if you're playing the angle where certainly in a 3-max, I recommend having a build like this where you end up fading Giannis because you think, similarly what happened last night where Chris Middleton picks up the slack, Dante DiVincenzo picks up the slack, especially at 4,700. He's somebody that could provide some value. And it doesn't look like the Bucks plan on playing their bench all that much. I mean, there's a serious problem when your first two guys coming off the bench are Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis. So I don't blame them for playing the entire starting five virtually 36 minutes. That's exactly what I would do if I had that roster. And you could really take advantage of that and load up on these guys. Dante DiVincenzo at 4,700 on a slate where we're starving for value. Not many players are going to end up playing 30+ minutes in that price range.
Eric Bledsoe, Dante DiVincenzo. This is going to be a fun one, man. This is going to be a fun one. All right, let's move on. 5 o'clock Eastern. All these games are on ABC or ESPN, by the way, which is kind of nice. Don't even need to switch over to TNT. You just leave that clicker. You just leave it, and you're good to go. We have the Brooklyn Nets coming off a very impressive victory over the Warriors and traveling up to Boston to take on the old Kyrie Irving team in the Celtics. One of them, I guess. Brooklyn is favored by 3.5 points. Over-under sits at 228.5. I mean, that Brooklyn team, Jesus, dude, I didn't expect that. Like, that was impressive to see them just come out and just put the Warriors into the ground. By the second quarter, they were up by like 22 points, it looked like, and then they kind of just cruised from there. I expect this to be a little bit tighter of a match. And looking at Kevin Durant's price, considering, again, we just had Giannis at, 10-9, 10-3, whatever it was, Steph at 10-2. I mean, KD playing a couple more minutes, actually getting some more usage. How do you feel about that one?
If you're jamming 3 studs into your lineup where that's the route that you end up taking for your single entry build, you got to go Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Jason Tatum, and just go full on game stack this game. And
let's go
and say that, you know what, this game is going to soar over and I want all the star power possible. That's the route that I'm certainly going to have a lineup like that. And you load it up with values like Jeff Teague, you load it up with values like Dante DiVincenzo, and you just surround them with players. And you know what, considering we have just under $4,500 left per player, it's really not that bad. It's more than doable because you're not jamming in 3 Giannis's at 10-9. Your 3 studs are all below $10,000, and Kyrie is grossly overpriced for somebody that has all the motivation in the world to absolutely put the moves on Boston. So he has massive beef with Marcus Smart, who's likely going to be guarding him or at least attempting to. good luck with that. I mean, the guy's one of, if not the shiftiest player in the entire league. So I will have a ton of exposure to this game, largely in the form of studs. Karis Albert is somebody that will get some ownership because of what happened in the first game. But I'm not. This Boston Celtics team is not the Warriors that will be completely lost on defense. Warriors are going to be fine. Let's not overreact over one game. They did look a little lost on D without Draymond out there, and it hurts the overall system a lot when guys like Andrew Wiggins have to pick up the slack. So being true to the take that I have on the Warriors, they'll be just fine. But this Brooklyn Nets offense was absolutely lethal, man. I don't know if this was Steve Nash's plan all along, if this was more on Kyrie and KD saying like, "Hey, we're back," kind of thing. But they pushed the pace at such an absurd rate that they're going to be scoring in bunches, and this team is going to be a serious problem on the offensive end for opposing defenses. So I'm going to get shares of Kyrie. I'm going to get shares of KD. I'm going to be underweight on, at least on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'll be a little overweight on Karis Albert because he's underpriced over there at a very thin small forward position. But on DraftKings, I will be underweight on Karis Albert. People are going to be chasing that game that he had on opening day, and this one's going to be a lot tighter than a 26 to 30 point blowout. That's for sure.
I'm excited for this one. I think it is going to be fun. Obviously, Kevin Durant again, coming back second game. Hopefully he gets real run this time. They don't completely blow out the Celtics. We just saw what Jason Tatum did up against Giannis in his face, if I'm not mistaken, banking that three. I mean, here's the thing, like that was an awesome shot, but it was also a terrible shot. You're not supposed to bank a 3-pointer. Like that's how
that was a bad shot.
That was a really bad shot. It went in, so the joke's on us, right? But
yeah,
guys, like let's calm down. I love Jason Tatum. Duke Blue Devil, I'm in. I am 100% in. But like, God, that was a bad shot. They should not.
Thank you for saying it, because I didn't want to come out here and start like both of us love Jason Tatum, but that was a bad shot. He missed the basket by like 5 feet to the left.
Yeah, but it went in, and that's the cool part, and that's why you love the NBA. Because it went in, and it doesn't matter, and the joke's on us. So what I will say is the Celtics really should have never let the Bucks back into that game. If I'm not mistaken, weren't they up by like double digits in the fourth quarter? They let them all the way back. Then the Bucks went up. Giannis misses those free throws. Yikes.
Big yikes.
Not
Big
great. I think they're going to be fine. I think this is going to be a fun game. It should be interesting, but I kind of think Brooklyn blows them out. I think Kyrie is going to want to do his thing. I think KD is going to say, "Oh, I get to actually play this game. This will be fun." And I also saw an awesome tweet. I apologize, I don't remember who said it, but it's a pretty good one. The team that played the entire fourth quarter, the rotation that played the entire fourth quarter for the Nets, was the team that they fielded in the bubble.
Yep.
So the team they went to the playoffs with,
they know how to play together. They know how to play together, and this team is, barring any trade for a James Harden, a Joel Embiid, if I could drop it in there, anything like that. Like they need to keep this team together unless they're absolutely solidifying their starting five, because like Dinwiddie didn't come off the court much when Karis Albert stepped in. They were largely playing together. Like, yes, Dinwiddie got the spot start, but again, like Karis Albert's usage was absolutely absurd coming off the bench. So obviously the garbage time stats absolutely padded them there. And like I think KD played like 2 minutes in the second quarter. So don't look for something of the same in this game. You're not going to see KD for only 2 minutes, because at the end of the first, I believe they were up by 15 already on the Warriors. Yeah, so this game's going to be a lot tighter, but this Brooklyn Nets bench, there's a lot to be had there. And then that's where they'll be able to pull away from this game. Because when you have guys like Karis Albert, yes, Dinwiddie gets the start, but again, he plays large in part with the second unit as well, because when Kyrie comes off, someone's got to run point. He's out there. Whether it's Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan, one of the two is always out with that second unit too. They're going to be able to take advantage of that Boston second unit. So Boston Stars are going to be run to the ground. I love Jason Tatum in the spot at 9,300. He's going to have to shoulder a very heavy workload for them to be able to stay in this game. And every game counts. It's a very short season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 less games than normal. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. I think we can safely say both of these teams will be in the playoffs, but I'm kind of curious what their routes and their paths there will. So primetime on Christmas Day, the NBA said, "What do you want?" And we said, "We want Luka versus LeBron." And they said, "Okay." We got Luka Doncic going up against Anthony Davis and LeBron James in primetime, 8 o'clock. Should be an absolute blast. We have the Lakers currently favored by 6.5 points. Over under sits at 227.5. Luka had a solid night. As I told you, I did not watch a single second of that game. I went to sleep and I woke up, and the first thing I did was check the box score and saw he scored 30. He had a solid night, rebounding and assisting. Didn't look like he hit a 3 though, which is a little alarming, but it's one night. We'll get over it. We had our friend Ashley Nicole on yesterday. Did Luka look fat? I didn't see any pictures. How do you feel about it?
I didn't even watch the game. I was working on the model and just being able to update things. I was way too fired up about, we had our top values. 4 out of the top 5 values on the model were Mason Plumlee, Josh Jackson. Then we had Pat Williams, and we had Jeff Teague on there as well. All 4 of them absolutely smashed, and getting a 0.5% owned Josh Jackson to go for 10 times his price at min price at 3,000. Mason Plumlee was 10% owned. I'm pretty sure the Win Daily family accounted for at least 9 or 9.5 of that, because we were talking about him all day, and everybody was asking me like, are you sure about this? Like even myself, I was like, it's Mason Plumlee. Like, this is not the sexiest of names, but I build with that, and it absolutely smashed. So I was really fired up, and I just continued to fine tune it and make sure everything's good to go for this Christmas Day slate. So I didn't get a chance to watch too much of the game, but I'm sure Luka was out there doing his thing. I mean, we spoke about it in the preview show that if you're game stack in that one, it's got to be Luka with Booker or Luka and DeAndre Ayton. Ayton got into foul trouble again because he was out there with his slapping silly arms, getting up in people's faces way too much, and drawing some really stupid fouls on defense. So Devin Booker did his thing against Luka. So I caught glimpses of that game. Luka looked just fine though.
I was gonna say, I don't know, Ashley, we appreciate you and your insight, but come on. Let the guy be happy. Let the guy be happy.
Like James Harden also looked like he ate like six McDoubles a day in that, and then he looked fine too. So I don't know if it's his Photoshop stuff or
angles. Yeah. Also, get a McDouble. Put on Mac sauce. It's an extra 50 cents. You get a Big Mac for like $3 left. Just saying. Anyway, let's get back to this game. We have Luka. We have AD. We have LeBron James. Dennis Schroeder did his thing the other night. Montrezl Harrell, absolutely fantastic. We have to talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. in some way, shape, or form. Shout out our good friend Tulak. How do you feel about this one? And I guess how much? No, talk to me. How do you feel about this game?
It's a game that is possibly worth fading. Honestly, like I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, and my article is gonna be out tonight as well with full details on this one. But even on a 5-game slate, you got to plant your flag somewhere. So similarly, what we did on opening day, yes, it was 2 games, so obviously you need shares of both games. Let's not hide that. You can't. DraftKings or FanDuel will not let you build a lineup with only 1 game in there, but you still have to plant your flag in some sort of fashion where I'm crossing guys out of my player pool, even on 2 games. So on 5 games, if I'm looking to eliminate one of them right now, it's between one of these 2 last games are going to be completely off my list. With New Orleans and Miami being one where I have very limited shares of. That one I'm going to have the guys that we spoke about, Eric Bledsoe, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, more so the value. Not going to have much Jimmy Butler, that's for sure. So this game is going to be very similar. Where I have exposure to that game, it's going to be in studs. So I'm going to be stacking Luka with Anthony Davis. I'm going right back to the well with Anthony Davis. He looked really lazy in that first game. I don't know if it was a fatigue thing. I don't know if it was hey, we just got our ring ceremony. Let's just flex on the league now because we're the Lakers and we're 2020 champions, which we're going to hear for the next 7 months before somebody else wins the title.
7 years, dude. What are you talking about?
We're gonna hear about this forever until somebody else wins the title. So I think it's more so that he's just fine. And a team without KP out there, you're going up against guys like Dwight Powell, guys like Maxi Kleber. Like, man, Anthony Davis is going to absolutely smash in this matchup. So where I have exposure to this game, I'm going all in with 2 studs. I'm jamming in Luka and Anthony Davis, or you could take an alternative route and really go with some value. I pointed out on the first day, do not play Anthony Davis with Montrezl Harrell. That's exactly what happened. Anthony Davis sucked. Montrezl Harrell was absolutely cooking. So that's what this rotation is going to be. Like, I understand even on a 2-game slate, people are like, yeah, but the raw points of Montrezl at the center position, it's really bad. I get that, but your lineup has to make sense. I will continue to not play Montrezl Harrell with Anthony Davis. If it happens one day where both of them are in the winning lineup, so be it, because I know long-term, it's not plus EV to be able to play guys that interchange for one another. I'm not playing Duncan Robinson with Goran Dragic. They literally sub one another out. I'm not playing Steph Curry with Brad Wanamaker or Jordan Poole. I would never play Brad Wanamaker or Jordan Poole, but again, just another example. Like, I'm not playing guys that sub in and out for one another directly. I want my lineup constantly getting points. You can't have Montrezl Harrell and Anthony Davis in the same lineup, because when AD starts to cook in this matchup, Montrez is going to be out there making sure his Gatorade bottle is nice and full and that he has a nice warm seat with a fresh towel out there, so that way he could go right back in. So that for me is somewhere where, you know what, it's interesting. Harold's going to pull a lot of ownership. The mid-range is pretty bland on this slate. There's nothing that really pops. We don't have a $5,100 Danilo Gallinari. We don't have Jordan Clarkson. We don't have Dante. We have Dante DiVincenzo on this slate, but we don't have guys with that kind of upside with a plethora of options. So being able to go to Trez, you're not playing AD there. That's okay. I wouldn't be a good friend to Brian if I didn't mention THJ. So if you want to know why you need to play THJ, make sure you head over to windailysports.com. Go and read Picks and Pivots by the one and only Brian Tulloch Sports. All the THJ info that you'll ever need there
literally
is right there in his articles. Whenever THJ is on a slate, make sure you go and read Picks and Pivots, and any THJ info that you need will be in that article. So you could definitely go with more so of a balanced approach in this game with the THJ, Montrezl Harrell. But where I'm getting exposure to this game, it's not going to be in this mid-range. It's going to be Luka with AD, and I'm moving on.
I love it. Just one question. How does the model like Boban, out of curiosity?
I haven't run it just yet. I'm going to be running it later tonight. So that one's going to be a wait and see approach, but we will see. I'm curious. A lot of people were asking me about that yesterday. Are we freeing Boban? Yesterday, I didn't like him all that much. I don't see it.
I'm excited. I love Boban. He just seems like such a fun guy. He just seems like such a fun guy. I just want to hang out with him sometimes.
The biggest thing with Boban is that, and a large part of our model is based on the amount of minutes that somebody's going to play. There are so many different factors in there. Obviously, I'm not going to say everything because it is proprietary for a reason. But again, minutes are something that. Minutes equate money in DFS. So if you're not playing minutes, our model is not going to love you. Boban's getting no love with a DMP coach decision last night. That's for sure.
Damn. Hopefully they open
we need Kleber or Powell to go down. Then Boban's going to skyrocket. If that happens, then you know what?
All right. Not going to wish injury on anyone, but to see more Boban.
Trade one of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works too. Trade one of them.
We're not wishing injury. Just trade one of them. Trade
one of those. Trade Powell, Luka.
Make the call to Mark Cuban. Trade him.
All right, let's move on. We have our last game of the night, the late night hammer. We always love to see it. We have the Clippers going to the Denver Nuggets, who may have beat them after being down 3-1 in the NBA bubble playoffs. Clippers are favored by 2.5. Clippers came out. They seemed motivated. That was fun against the Lakers. That was cool. Nuggets. Did they win? I can't remember.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
I know I went to OT. It was a 2-point game. They were playing Sacramento. It was an absolutely crazy game. Shout out to my boy Darren Fox. He absolutely put in work in that game.
How did Halliburton do?
We've been talking about Darren Fox. I'm checking out how he looked good out there. Put up 12, 2 and 4. Shot just under 50% from the field. He looked good, and I was happy because he played 30 minutes. So
that's what we like.
Yes, we got some OT, but
money.
Darren Fox absolutely went nuts, and they actually squeaked out with a victory, 124-122.
Look at that. The Kings did?
Yeah.
Love it. You'll love to see it. Let's go Kings.
Love to see Darren Fox pulling W's. Let's go.
You love to see it. So we have this Clippers game. We have this Nuggets game. Over-under sits at 224. It's actually the lowest on the slate, but that number's not that low, so we're not angry about it. Yesterday, we were talking like 210 in some games. Yikes. Yeah. Also, shout out Ashley Nicole. I lost my bet. Damn it. I never bet on the Knicks. I did it to myself.
I did it with you too. That was purely for her and to support the Knicks. And
it looked good in the first half
for supporting the Knicks. That's what we get for supporting the Knicks. That's what happens.
I guess somebody was able to
for a few hours. We were what a day in the life of a Knicks fan was. That was not fun.
Yeah, not going to try that too often.
Shout out my boy RJ Barrett. Absolutely putting in work last night.
Your friend because he's Canadian. My friend because he's a Dookie. RJ, come on the show. Come on the show. We got both of you. I'm a Duke fan. Ghost is a Canadian. We have everything covered. What else could you possibly ask for? And I live close to. Oh, we'll have Ashley on. Actually, somebody make that happen. Ashley's a Knicks fan. I'm a Duke fan. You're a Canadian.
Let's go.
TPJ, if you're watching. If not,
I'll get RJ Barrett on the show.
Let's get RJ Barrett on the show. That would be a blast. All right, let's get back to this last game. Late night hammer, 10:30 start. We got Jokic, we got Kawhi. Paul George came out and did his thing. That was fantastic. Jamal did his, not nearly as much, but it was still fun. Talk to me a little bit. How are you looking at this game?
Nikola Jokic was featured in my article yesterday as a premium tournament play because everyone was going to Drummond. Everyone was punting down with Wendell Carter Jr. value, which that was a hard fade for me. We spoke about how both him and Lauri Markkanen were going to get exposed. Markkanen took advantage when Danilo Gallinari got off the court there. So in that second quarter, he really picked it up and managed to get there. So this is, again, Jokic was in the article yesterday. I'm not trying to give away too much, but he will be in the article again tonight. I don't know how to say it. This guy's dropping 30, 15, and 15 so effortlessly. Serge Ibaka is going to be a much heavier challenge than Hassan Whiteside and Rashawn Holmes was. That was something that I quickly pointed out in the description why Nikola Jokic. A bunch of other analytics, yes, those are fun, but just watch the games and end up looking at one-on-one matchups. There's no way on any given day that Hassan Whiteside and or Rashawn Holmes can guard Nikola Jokic, and you saw that Rashawn Holmes fouled out in 22 minutes. So
yikes!
I'm looking for the same thing here. Serge Ibaka is definitely going to be a much greater task than those two. Not that Serge Ibaka is the best defender in the league, but when we're talking about Hassan Whiteside and Rashawn Holmes, Ibaka is the best defender in the league compared to those two guys. So I'm going right back to him at 10.1. A lot of people are going to draw into attention to the fancy names, and especially when we're talking about these large field tournaments where people end up sitting with their families or with whoever they're with that day, and they're sitting down on Christmas morning and they're like, hey, let me throw in a lineup on DraftKings or FanDuel. You're going to have a lot of casual players in these large field tournaments, the $10, $15, $20 one where, it's $100, $200, $500, or maybe even $1 million to first. And they're going to play guys like Giannis. They're going to play guys like Kevin Durant. They're going to play guys like Kyrie, Steph Curry, LeBron, AD, Doncic. Like, all those guys are more popular to the NBA fan bases than Nikola Jokic is. If you're looking for a leverage spot and you're taking a shot in one of these large field tournaments, my go-to play is going to be Nikola Jokic at the center position.
You'll love to see it. Anybody on the Clippers side that you're liking?
This team lacks value. I'm curious to see their rotation a little bit. I'm not hesitating to go back to Luke Kennard because, again, yes, his shot wasn't dropping, but the opportunities were there. And at only 4,000, he's somebody that could slot. Like, my lineups are going to be largely guard heavy, meaning that I'm going to be spending a ton of money at the guard positions. I want Kyrie, I want Steph in the large majority of my lineups, and then I'm going to have that 1-2 punch of KD with Jason Tatum to be able to fill out the small forward, power forward positions, but you still have that third forward spot on DraftKings is always a problem on these smaller slates because you always want to end up loading up on at the guard position. Luke Kennard being small forward eligible is definitely somebody that I will slot in comfortably there. Yes, his shot wasn't as hot as we had wanted it to be on the opening day slate, but the opportunities were there. And for me, minutes equate money, opportunities equate money in DFS. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, wasn't he was pretty cold from the field. It was like 1 of 10 or something like that. It was bad.
And the best part is that he got 10 shots. Played cold. He played cold. He didn't do all that much. Still hit value on DraftKings.
You love to see it. He had 10 shots. If they keep going back to him, clearly he's going to be a big part of this offense. So take him now while he's only 4K until when he gets up to 6,500, it's going to be a little more difficult, right?
And then when we ended up saying like that second unit, it's going to be, similar to what it was last year. It was Lou Will running a pick and roll with Trez. And now Ivica Zubac actually has the benefit to be able to fill in that role. He's somebody that, again, when Lou Will and Zubac came out, they came out at the same time. And Zub was diving to the basket. He was filling in that Trez role with being that much better on defense. So Kennard ended up getting more opportunity in the second half because the Lakers ended up catching on, and then they ended up having Marc Gasol out there. They had AD. They had their big guys out there guarding Zubac. But when Zubac was on Trez, that was the biggest mismatch because Montrezl Harrell cannot play defense. We pointed that out millions of times in the preseason shows. On the opening day, this guy cannot play defense. He's an absolute abomination on defense. So they went right back to that. It actually hurt the amount of opportunities that Kennard got. So the fact that he can get 10 shots in while Zub was getting all that work, I'm expecting a big workload for him because now you're not going to have Zubac going up against Montrezl Harrell. You're going to have Nikola Jokic out there in the paint. So good luck with that.
You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. And that is our NBA on Christmas Day slate breakdown. We're here to help. So make sure we're going to have articles. This is obviously coming out in podcast form. So if you are listening to the audio podcast, subscribe, give us a review, 5 stars, whatever. It really does help us out. We're giving you this information for free. All we're asking for is you to click a couple buttons. That's it. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe because we have a lot more stuff coming up and out for you. And check out all the free articles. There's already an article up on the site. Ghost is going to have his article. We might even have one more. I don't know. Adam or Stoby might be pushing out a cash game article for this 5-game slate, which we love. Adam,
I'm
awesome.
going to have it out tonight. Yeah.
So there we go. So we're going to have multiple articles for you for this Christmas Day slate. We know a lot of people are playing. This is going to be a blast. Let's get it. 5 games, a little bit more fun than a 2-gamer because you actually can do some things, get a little different. 2 games, as you said, ownership's high on everybody, so it doesn't really matter. Just try and figure it out. So this should be a lot of fun, and it's a nice place to, go to. You need to look at your phone for a second. You're going to be spending time with family, I'm assuming, so not going to be angry about that. Ghostman, where can everybody find you on the internet?
At DFS_Ghost over on Twitter and in the Win Daily Sports Discord chat. And yes, I will be in there tomorrow answering questions as well.
You'll love to see it. WinDailySports.com/chat. You get 7 free days in that bad boy. It's an instant messenger chat where we talk about sports and help you win money, whether that's NFL, PGA, esports, or NBA. That's what we're here to do. We're here to answer questions about your bets, about your DFS lineups, about your trading cards, whatever you want. We're here to help you make money. That is what we do. You can follow me at Michael Raziel1. Make sure to sign up for Win Daily Sports NBA Season Pass, $150, the entire NBA season. You get all the articles. They're not going to be free forever. Those are all going behind the paywall soon. We're giving to you now. Those are going to be behind the paywall soon. But all the articles, the incredible model that Ghost has put together and is always fine-tuning. You get that. Also, that Discord chat where you get to ask us all the questions. It's a blast. So come and hang out. $150, 7 months. It's like $20 a month. We'll make you more than $20 a month. I can almost guarantee that. Make sure to follow us at Win Daily Sports. But other than that, for Ghost, for myself, for the Win Daily Sports family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and hope you make it a very profitable one as well. Bye, everybody.